Step 1. Unfold and press the fat quarter flat. Be sure to remove any of the stickers and cardboard and throw them away. The fat quarter will be about 18 by 22 inches. Okay, you're going to need one fat quarter. Please peel off the sticker. And inside of here there is a piece of cardboard. Both of these need to be thrown away. Please do not stick stickers anywhere on the floor or on counters or on tables, anything. Just throw these away. Your fat quarter is going to be quite wrinkly, which will make your project difficult, so you need to iron it. To iron it, you just go to the iron, lay out your fabric, and what we're doing is ironing, not pressing. We're trying to get rid of wrinkles. So if your iron is hot, double check, and maybe add a little bit of steam, and just firmly press, going back and forth to get rid of the wrinkles. Okay, with your iron fat quarter, we now need your instructions. Your instructions say that we need one fat quarter and the project pattern pieces cut out. The pattern pieces are here. You need to cut these out. Do not use the fabric shears for these. Use just normal paper scissors. And then right here, there's a fabric key that you need to notice. It says gray side is the right side and white is wrong. If you look on here, we've got the pattern pieces on the fabric. If you look close, there's a little white strip there and it's gray. That means we've got the right, or the pretty side, on the outside. If I was to flip this over, you'd notice that this isn't as pretty as that side. It's not the correct or right side of the fabric. Additionally, this fabric is folded in half. Please note it says, hey, the 18-inch, the short end, and the 22-inch is this one. So you're going to fold the long edge in half, so it's now the shorter one. So that's going to look like, it's like this. Except for we want the right sides on the outside. So there we go. Okay, we do this because we want to have we're going to cut 2 of each of these pattern pieces, which means we fold it in half and have 2 layers. We only have to cut once. When you lay down your pattern pieces, how it is exactly shown in this picture would fit on your fabric, or you can put them else ways as long as you're following the pattern symbols. Please note, before you cut, you need to show it and check it off with me. That way I make sure your pattern symbols are faced the right way, and this is going to work well for you. Okay, so here are our pattern pieces. I'm going to start with the bookmark, which says, place on fold. We will not cut this edge of the fabric ever, because we want to be able to unfold this and have a really long strip. Because it's on the fold, we're only cutting 1 while we're getting 2 sides. Please note, it tells you that when you sew it later, it's a 5/8 seam allowance. I've got my fat quarter here. Here's my fold. Here's the opening. I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick it right here like so. Right exactly on this edge. Not hanging out over here parallel to it, and not hanging off the edge, exactly on it. To save fabric, I'm going to get as close to the bottom as I can, but make sure that both layers of your fabric actually go to the end. Once this is in the right spot, I'm going to pin it. When you pin, you have to go down into your fabric, turn, and come back up. In corners, you'll go diagonally, and in flat spaces, you will go perpendicular to the edge so the point points at the edge of the pattern. Pin down through, turn, and come back up. Make sure your pins do not hang off the edge anywhere, and you're going to put about a hand's width between each pin. So the 4 corners and these 2 edges will be perfect for this one. Okay, I'm going to do the zippered earbud pouch next, which says cut 2. We're going to have 2 layers of fabric, so I get 2. And remember, this one's going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. This arrow says that it needs to be parallel to our selvage. The way the fat quarter is cut means that this long edge, opposite of our fold, is our selvage. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to lay it right here, and then to be parallel, I have to actually measure it. So I'm going to measure from the arrow to the edge on this end, and then from the arrow to the edge on that end to make sure that it is parallel. It should be the same number. On this one, the 4 corners is probably good enough. Next one, the cord keeper, has the same arrow. It's got markings that we need to actually draw on the fabric after we cut it. We're still going to cut 2, and this time it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance instead of a 1/2 inch or 5/8. But it's the same arrow, so I'm going to just stick it right here and make sure it's parallel to that edge. Please note the fabric is not bubbling, it is still pretty flat. Next piece, tab for zippered earbud pouch, cut 1. We only need 1. This arrow says it should be parallel to our selvage. So I'm thinking, oh no, it doesn't fit here. But if I cut and open this flat, it would fit there fine, so I'm going to leave it for last. Okay, this one says button pouch, cut 2. 2 layers of fabric, we'll cut 2. 5/8 inch seam allowance. My arrow needs to be parallel this way. And then I also have markings that I'm going to need to mark after I cut it. At this point, come show it to me, just to make sure that all of your pattern symbols are going the correct directions, and then you'll be able to cut. Once you've shown it to me, you're going to use your lovely fabric shears and you're going to cut this. Try to keep it flat on the table and cut with long, smooth strokes. The straighter your cut line, the straighter your stitch line later. Remember, do not cut here. So I'm going to start here. Going this way on this side. If you get a little bit of the paper when you cut, that is fine. Got a couple of little bubbles out, so maybe I would straighten this out a little. And there we go. Once again, do not cut this side, we want a fold. With your leftover scraps, I would keep these 2 large pieces for practice buttonholes later, and these ones should be thrown away. They should not be found on the floor or anywhere else. This pattern piece and this pattern piece say transfer these markings. Easiest way to do that is to just take your marking tool and fill up this top bit there and go, hey, right there's where that circle is. X marks the spot. And on this one, the same thing. X marks the spot. The trick is we need to know this for both sides. For the second side, I would stab a pin through just above the circles and then flip it over and pull the pin all the way through so it's flat on the table. And then I know that just below that pin is where my X should be. Since this is just chalk, I'm going to wait to mark these ones until I'm ready to do this one. I'm also going to leave it pinned like this in my tote for the cord keeper, the zipper pouch, and its tab. I would keep these just like this in my tote because I'm going to work with these 2 first and then go and do these.